like to call the meeting of the Board of School Directors to order. First, I'd like to make the announcement that Mrs. Hartford is with us by phone this evening. The next order on our agenda is our roll call.
Dr. Christopher? Here. Mr. Crosby? Present. Mrs. Nero?
Here.
Mr. Elsier? Here. Mr. Hawes? Mrs. Hartford?
Here.
Mr. Nichols? Here. Mrs. Usavage?
Here.
Mrs. Severs?
Present. The next item is our color block.
Color right. Please rise, bring in the colors. Pledge of allegiance, rise and anthem.
Way up, face, backward, march, color guard, present, colors.
Pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will now have a moment of silence. During this time, I ask that you put Joseph Tomaselli and Ruth Webster in your thoughts. Sergeant Tomaselli provided the DARE program for students at several of our Boyertown schools for many years, and Mrs. Webster served as the principal of the Pine Forge, Washington, and Clover Vale Elementary Schools. We appreciate the service these two individuals provided for our students, staff, and community members. And now, I'm going to silence. Thank you.
Color guard.
Can you see the dawn's early light? What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose the stripes and bright stars through their wondrous light, o'er the ramparts we watched, with so gallantly streaming, and the rapids red glare amongst the singing air. It grew through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Color guard, and read, colors. Ready, go.
Post the colors.
Stage exit.
Thank you so much for those activities. Next on our agenda, not listed, would be introduction by Dr. Cooper about the high school.
Thank you. Jackie. Hello. Can you hear me now? Okay, I'd like to welcome the Board of School Directors to the high school this evening. As you, first of all, I'd also like to thank the NJRTC Color Guard for their participation in the opening and also the Boyertown Area School High School Choir. You can see that's just an example of some of the many opportunities, co-curricular-wise, that our students are provided. And you saw that one of the members, student members, participated in the choir as well. Yes, so you can see that great opportunities here. And are very involved. And I want to thank Mr. Kirchhoff for putting that together and having this board members come out this evening. Well, we got off to the start of the school year here, and tomorrow will mark the midway point of our second six-day cycle. And one of the unique things this year with our students is because the new bell schedule opportunity for all of our students in high school. So it was basically new, not just for the sophomores, but for also the juniors and seniors. And we did get through our first six-day cycle that includes some flex time for our students, which is support. It's built in the regular school day to provide them support for our kids who are struggling based on some data that we took a look at over the part of the summertime with our data team. The flex is going well. We continue to expand those opportunities for our kids to support them. And another thing that we started here at the high school this year is the promotion of our Bare Essentials. And our Bare Essentials are the result of the work of approximately 15 months of a school climate task force that included faculty members, administrators, and student members in coming up with some essentials that we care to live by while we're here at the high school. And those three essentials that we continue to promote are respect, responsibility, and safety. And we've addressed those with the students at the beginning of the school year, be it class meetings and during flex time meetings, and continue to promote that throughout their classes and school day throughout the school day. I think they've adjusted well, the students have adjusted well, and we're off to a good start here. Another thing I'd like to share with you is we have some upcoming opportunity for our sophomores. Typically, in the month of October in the past, as part of the career portfolio graduation requirement, our sophomores went on a post-secondary visit to institutions of higher learning. We replaced that this year with an opportunity in cooperation with the Berkeley Business Education Coalition, where our sophomores will have the opportunity this year to visit some businesses in our community, National Penn Bank, Boyertown Area Memorial Hospital, Seal Strip, and Redwood Industries. So they'll about 110, 120 students every day in the week of September 23rd to the 27th. We'll have the opportunity to go out and visit the businesses to kind of get some information and knowledge on what those soft skills are and what businesses are looking for as far as employable skills. And we felt it was important to get them out early in their high school experience because those same skills are important in their academic success here at the high school as well. So we can get them in that framework and that thinking. It's important here. It's important out there. It's important here as well. So I didn't want to shut that out. Let's get them off to high school. And thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Cooper. The next item on our agenda is the announcement of previous executive sessions. And the board did have one executive session on August 20th. The topic was information, and it lasted about 110 minutes. The next item on our agenda is something that occurs occasionally, and it's the board president report. And I have two items that I wanted to address during this time. But before that, I realized that this is the first school year we are going to be having student representatives with us at our board meetings on the first meeting of the month. And I wanted to introduce them to you. We have Brandon Staffa, who started last year, I believe it was in January, and Jessica Kratz, who then Kurtz. Is it Kurtz? Thank you. Kurtz, who joined us in June and was elected by the student body to be a member to come here and share information. Their role is to inform the board of things that are happening here at the high school, and then to take back news to the high school students about what happens here at our board meetings. So we welcome them for their first school year. Welcome. Okay, the next item is called voting procedure for the PSBA elections. This is something new to our board of directors. In the past, elections occurred at a special meeting that the PSBA has, and they have changed their policy to have all boards across Pennsylvania vote on the president-elect, vice president, treasurer, and member at large. And in the board packets, you all received a copy of this packet with information about those officers. And we are given the task that at one of our board meetings in September, we need to choose the people that we want to hold those offices. I believe that we have a ballot for board members.
Board members, do you have ballots at your stations?
Okay, so our specific instructions are that members present should vote. We will tally the votes, and then our board secretary is the authorized voter for our board. So what I'm going to ask you to do, I'm hoping you've all had time to review this and to determine who you wish to vote for those offices. You can fill that out, and then we'll get them back to Mr. Zablowski, who will tally the votes for us. Yes, Mrs. Rosetta.
Would you like to put our name on the ballot?
There should be names at the top of each page with each board member.
Do board members have any question about this process? Mr. Crossley?
On this policy, each board is allowed one vote, right? I think in the
That is correct.
If the school board had several people at the convention, they were entitled to several votes.
Yes, they were entitled to 3 votes in the past. So they have changed this, and they're requesting that the body on the board come to an agreement about 1 person for each of these offices.
Okay, thank you.
That would ultimately require a motion of the board to reflect what the board's position is on this. So one person should suggest a slate.
during voting, if you could pass your ballots around and get them tallied, we'll find out what our city looks like, and then we can make a motion to have Mr. Devontae enter our choices in the.
Okay,
Mr. Slavsky will be announcing the results for us, and then at that time, we will need to have a motion correct to approve the slate so that you can then enter into the system.
Okay, for president, with 5 votes, it's Mark B. Miller, William McCobb had 3. For vice president, it's Charles H. Ballard, with 7 votes, Larry Reach had 1. For treasurer, Otto W. Boyd III received all 8 votes, Norman Hasbrock none. And at-large representative for the eastern portion, Maura Bury received 5 votes, with Robert Schwartz receiving the other 3.
You move to accept my vote getters as being the slate as read.
Yeah.
You can have a voice vote.
Okay. Okay, on this item, we will take a voice vote, so all those in favor of the high counts on the slate, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, thank you very much, and thank you all for your patience as we work through this new process. And Mr. Blunt, you will take care of that for the board.
I will.
Thank you. Okay, the next item on my board president's report is entitled Improving Communication of School Board Operations. And what I wanted to bring to the board was a consideration or whatever discussion item. As you know, our meetings are televised during the school year. And we now have the Bash TV station, and we do not have in our policy that they would be publicized during the summer months, or that has not been past practice. This summer, Mr. Churkowski came and did 1 or 2 of the meetings on his time for us, so that they could be posted on the web, on the television stations so the community could see the continuation of the meetings throughout the year. That's one point of consideration for the board and discussion. And the other one is several board members have addressed over many occasions that it would be good to have the committee meetings televised also. One particular area was that of finance, that the community could hear the different presentations from the different groups and see the process that we go through to create our budget yearly. So I was wondering what board members would think about moving forward with this, looking at maybe changing how we do the televising our meeting. Mr. Crossland?
I would be in favor of it, but I don't think Commissioner Cherkowski should be the only person providing the video. I think we gotta find some other way of getting the cameras functioning.
Mrs. Shizaki?
I support any opportunity to communicate better with our community, especially on finance. I think that's a great idea. So I guess the considerations here are on financial and also on policy, perhaps on policy. How do we support it?
Yes, I would also support what you presented, because I think it's also important right now with the facilities, with the construction. I think that would also be good for the community to hear what's being discussed and progress of that, as well as the other areas that you mentioned.
Mr. Nichols?
I agree with that. Also, including the facilities committee, and because the building project we're going through right now, policy and finance are important. And of course, the summer meetings, I think should be televised.
Mr. Essing?
Yes, I absolutely support that. It's unfortunate that in the past they haven't been televised, but it's kind of a natural next step. We have a TV station or the TV channel, I should say, and it should be all committee meetings, not limited to just finance. I mean, and all of the curriculum, personnel should all be available to the public. And we'll work through the cost and logistics.
Yes, Mrs. Harper?
Yes, I would definitely support this, because I know that the television is now available on the personal private channel and everything to cover this, and hopefully someday it'll be able to reach what you want to see. But I also agree with Chicago that it shouldn't have to fall on just one individual. Hopefully there'll be a way to work it out where there could be a couple, 2 or 3 individuals that could come in and be able to cover those things. But that's all I have to support this.
Okay, do any other board members wish to make a comment? Mrs. Taylor?
I just think it's a wonderful idea. We should be doing this a long time ago. And I feel very sad that it's not available to the whole community.
Okay, so what, from this discussion and consideration, we will move forward, get information, have the administration get information about costs, and we'll have the policy committee look at the policy and see if we need to change it and what needs to be changed in that. So be looking in your packet for more information about that. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on, we have public comment period number 1. Okay, the first person to sign up to speak is Clayton Meister, and you did not put a topic or down for what you're speaking on, and that's important because during this period it has to be something. Okay, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Clayton M. Clay Leister, and I've been a resident of the borough of Boyertown since April 1949. And before I make a comment, I'd like to say thank you. I made every attempt to come up to speed in my knowledge of academies. And I made a request of the district, and I received the information that I desired in a very timely manner. And that's impressive. And for that, I thank you. Now, I'm here tonight requesting you to table items number 6 and number 7 on the agenda. And I'm doing that with good cause. We just had a failed attempt, and we don't know where that's going to take us today. Jumping in this at this time without a little intervening time to pause, I would say we should hit the pause button and give it some more time. We have a superintendent on deck, and as I look around at surrounding school districts, I've witnessed and am aware of the mistakes that they make that are very, very costly. You know about them, I know about them. And we don't want to follow their path to economic ruin and disaster. One good reason for tabling 6 and 7, presently we're getting closer to property tax reform, or elimination, I should say. Not reform, but elimination. And I've become aware that the residents of the school district would not be able to avail themselves of that property tax elimination until that district's debt is resolved. 30 seconds. Now, we need time to gather our thoughts and plans instead of just a mindless pursuit of going down the path of another money pit, increasing the poverty of our school district residents. Please give my plea one last consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person wishing to speak from the public is John Landino, talk about high school and voting regions.
Good evening. Good evening. Regarding the high school project, I do think we are moving too fast to jump back into the high school construction. There are other options that can address the overcrowding in the elementary schools while allowing us the flexibility to update other buildings that need attention. If we spend $55 million on high school, we have funds available to address the other buildings that need attention. I think we should take a holistic view of all the district needs and see how that fits in with what we can afford. We may not get the optimal solution or everyone's wish list, but we will have a solution that we can afford as a district and address all of our needs. Regarding the voting region proposal, I attended the meeting last week so I could get an update on the proposal and the process used to arrive at a recommendation. I do have concerns about at-large voting, given the large size of our district and the ability of a person who doesn't want to spend a lot of money to get the word out and reach everyone. I frankly don't know if I would have run the school board in this current election if I had to cover the entire district. Reason 3 was daunting enough. That said, it's unfortunate that the meeting turned into an anti-Montgomery County venting session that overshadowed the information presented. It's sad to say that dysfunctional politics at the national and state level has infected our area. Most disappointing was when 2 residents who volunteered for personal time and participated on the ad hoc team in good faith, spoke about their experience on the team. Negative comments were made during and after their speech by some members of the crowd. Ironically, I have no idea whether those two individuals lived in Montgomery or Berks County. Evidently, that didn't matter to the crowd because they didn't agree with their point of view. Cooperation, collaboration, and worst of all, compromise are all evidently now seen as a negative. In business, I can tell you, the best solutions are never derived from groupthink or inflexibility. Opposing viewpoints are needed and should be valued. But we can't function at a high level if folks come in with predetermined biases and every issue turns into an all or nothing proposition. The reality is that regardless of this vote, we all need to work together. I hope at some point in the future, the words us and them can be turned into we. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person wishing to speak is Chris Nyman, to speak about the high school project. Chris?
Okay, again, I'm now here asking you, please cease and desist this operation. Nowhere have I seen where the numbers of the building project warrant this type of decision. There's a big difference between wants and needs. We all might want something, does that mean we need it? Do we need a $55 million project? I see people every day out there, and I talk to a lot of people that I work with, or a lot of people in communities, or even people across county, and I know we don't want to go counties, but I'm saying I know people in Montgomery County that cannot afford this. You go out there and you look, and maybe, not right now, but maybe tomorrow, it could be you, it could be one of your family members, it could be your parents, it could be your neighbor, it could be anybody around you is going to be in situations where they cannot afford this type of taxes. And I'm hearing money's not there from the government. So if we put that money into this project, what happens if the government can't come through? What happens if the government can't come through for 10, 20, 30 years? We're counting on that money. We don't have it. What's that going to do to our taxes? And again, I'm saying, wait for the 5 new board members that are coming on board. Wait for them to make this type of decision. There is no need for us to rush into this. Once again, we don't know what's happening with the other contractor. They come back and they want money out of us. Where's that coming from? After we put this $55 million into this project. You need to think hard and long before you say, we're going to do this. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Ruth Baker, wishing to speak about the building project and elections.
Good evening. I was reflecting on the project in general that you were preparing to hire an architect to proceed with. And it's obvious the 800 plus signatures of residents had no effect on this board to encourage it to please step back and go back to the very basis for these projects. It's also evident that somebody is not looking at the population data that were presented, because if you do, you will see you do not need these projects. And at that point, I'm not perfect either, but all of us have to account for our lives at some point. I would much rather have to justify spending $5 million on roofs to keep our existing buildings in good repair than to have to justify that I put another generation in debt for $124 million in total debt service in addition to our roughly $5 million of debt we have already. Isn't it better to have less debt when the economy is not, in my opinion, and I am in the thick of the industrial sector, rebounding? It may be going along, but comfortable doing that to the less well-to or elderly part of your school district, I am sorry for you. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person who signed up to speak to us is Linda Curry. She wishes to speak about the voting regions and the elections.
At last week's voting region ad hoc committee, a resident has submitted, she has made two proposals that include precinct changes without using an at-large model. Have you had an opportunity to review them, and will there be board discussion on those proposals? I continue to support the current voting model that's in place. As I said at last week's meeting, some of the criteria that was established in the committees and became, so very important, became less important or so important, included some of the following. This was to define the election model. Candidates are known by all voters. Community feels close constituency relationship. Candidates are not discouraged from running and that will include financially. Does not encourage candidates from just one geographic area or county. With your decision, if you decide to move forward with this, can you guarantee that things like this is important items will stay in place? Under the election plan, since these are not considered very important, and if you move forward, I can't see where they will be. So please, I ask you once again to consider leave the current model as it is, and when the new census comes out in seven years, we'll see what changes. Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda is approval of the minutes. These would be the minutes from our public meeting of August 20th, 2013. Mrs. Darrell moves, Crossley seconds. Are there any questions or comments about these minutes? Seeing none, we'll take a vote.
Dr. Christopher? Yes. Mr. Crosby?
Yes.
Mrs. Duro?
Yes.
Mr. Elsier?
Yes.
Mrs. Hartford?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Mrs. Usavich?
Yes.
Mrs. Semmett?
Yes.
8-0.
The next item on our agenda is the Secretary's report.
No report.
Following that, we have Solicitor's report.
No report.
Following that, we have the Superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mrs. Simmons and members of the board, community members. It's my pleasure this evening to present the superintendent's report. Since we last met on August 20th, we had the start of school, so I want to spend a little bit of time talking about the first day of school. Something unique about this year is the district cabinet, all five of us, made an effort to attend every single school together on the first day to welcome the students and staff back to school. I personally rode from my resident, actually I went to the bus stop with the students. I rode bus number 47 from the Pine Forge area to the high school and had an opportunity to visit with many of the students that were on that bus. Again, welcoming them to the first day of school and introducing myself as their new superintendent. As we made our way around the school district, it was evident that our custodial staff, our food service staff, our teachers, our support personnel had taken a great deal of pride in making sure that the facilities that our students were going to attend on that first day of school were very clean and well kept and ready for our students. As I was dropped off at the high school, there was a line of students welcoming the buses. They had spirit towels. They were cheering for the students as they got off the bus. And I thought, what a way to arrive to school with upperclassmen ready for you, welcoming you to your school. So I commend the students for that and for that energy and excitement. In addition to the first day of school, there have been some changes on our website that I want to highlight for the community this evening. First of all, if you are a person who visits the internet, I have created a new superintendent's blog. The latest article on there on the website is in reference to the new school performance profile, and it gives some examples. It gives an example of what that scoring, school scoring is going to look like. The school performance profile is replacing that with yearly progress. It was announced by the governor here several weeks ago. So I invite you to take a look at the superintendent's blog on an ongoing basis. Those topics will change, and there is an opportunity for you as community members to post your comments, and we will follow up with you on your questions. In addition, I have started a Twitter function. I'm actually sending out tweets. I've had the pleasure of attending several events in the school district, the most recent being Friday evening's football contest. Was able to view the band do their opening show. There's a tweet that's been sent out on that as well as some comments about some of the successes that our students and staff are achieving. Whenever you take a look at your school district, you want to focus on and celebrate the successes of not only students, but also staff. So I'm pleased to share with you this evening that we have two staff members that are receiving some special recognition. The first is Mr. Bill Cherkasky, who is the high school telecommunications teacher. And he has been selected to receive the S. Park Media Mentor Award from Ithaca College. This award is an award that recognizes outstanding high school teachers who are committed to igniting a passion for media in their students. He is one of five teachers that have been chosen nationally to receive this award. So I commend him for all of the work that he is doing here at the high school and the students in our district to provide them a special opportunity. He is going to be officially recognized during a ceremony held at Ithaca College campus in October. So Mr. Cherkasky is the first staff member that I will highlight this evening. In addition, Mr. Todd Kennedy, who is the Junior High East Technology Education teacher, has recently been named the 2013-14 recipient of the Technology and Engineering Education Association of Pennsylvania Middle School Teacher Excellence Award. This is one of the highest honors given to technology and engineering education classroom teachers in our state. And it is presented to Mr. Kennedy in recognition of his outstanding contributions to their profession. Mr. Kennedy will be presented with this award during the annual conference, Technology and Engineering Educator Association Conference in November. I know that Mr. Kennedy is here this evening, so before I transition to my next agenda item, I would like to have him stand and be recognized by the community and the board. Thank you for your service. Next on my report are four requests to approve overnight student trips. There are 4 student trips. Two of those trips to Altoona by the student council. 1 trip by the FBLA students who are going to travel to the Penn State Conference Center in November. And finally, the 4th grade class, which I understand this has become a tradition in Boyertown School District, The fourth grade class from Pearl Elementary will travel to Camp Innabah, October 2nd through the 4th, to participate in some ongoing curriculum opportunities, as well as some opportunities to have some real situation, real life learning and bonding experiences. So I would recommend approval, administrative recommendation of approval of these trips.
Elsie, second.
You don't have to automatically. This is your
Okay, is there any discussion on this item, recommendation? Seeing none, we'll take a roll call vote.
Mr. Crossley?
Yes.
Yes. Mrs. Nero?
Yes.
Mr. Elsier?
Yes.
Mrs. Hartford?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols? Yes. Mrs. Usavich?
Yes.
Dr. Crispin? Yes. Mrs. Simmons?
Yes.
8-0.
The next item has to do with second readings of policy. I can remind the board, at our last meeting, there was the first reading of 3 policies. Policy number 4101, policy number 4104, policy number 4152.2. It is the recommendation of administration that the board approves the revisions to all 3 of these second readings.
Is there any discussion about this policy? Yes, 3, 4, and 5. Yes. Okay. And then we'll take a roll call vote on policy, listed under items 3, 4, and 5.
Mrs. Nero?
Yes.
Mr. Elsier?
Yes.
Mrs. Hartford? Mr. Nichols? Yes. Mrs. Usavich?
Yes.
Dr. Crispin? Yes. Mr. Crossley? Yes. Mrs. Simmons?
Yes.
8-0.